Giovanna always delightful.
Welcome to another Minneapolis by Night. This is our vampire venue. Tonight we have a diverse gathering. We'll be initially gathering to discuss some of the goings-on of the city. There's been some substantial turmoil. Large sums of money have been moved. Mortal law has been used as a weapon to shift the playing field, as it were, throughout the city. And rival factions have sprung up. To that end, the kindred have gathered tonight to discuss what that means for the city and where they might move on this next. I believe we will be beginning with Marcella Giovanni, Maria, and Jacob Jones gathering, I believe, at Jacob Jones' property to have a conversation.
By the way, John won't tell me what it looks like, so I don't know what it looks like.
It's fucking nice. That's what it looks like.
Nice and secure.
I'm sure it looks cool too, though. I mean,
Right.
I had no input. John would let me.
it could be like some kind of brutalist kind of architecture, though. I mean, who knows? But that's cool looking.
Jacob has taste. I got etiquette 3. I got numbers. Anyway. So, you guys haven't seen the place yet. When you guys pull up to it, there's a giant driveway. There's even a giant fountain in the front. It's pretty awesome. Let me have the fountain, John. Deal with it.
I found that security purposes.
Just saying. One fountain. God damn it. And, you know, there's a carport and all that jazz. I was thinking like the house from, you know what house I was thinking of? The house from Arrow.
From which one?
The Queen House?
Yeah, the Queen House.
Okay, I could see that.
That's got a big enough room for a ball in it. I saw the TV show.
I was going to say, I had a ball in that. Yeah, anyway. That's a pretty nice house.
Yeah. So, you guys arrive. Do the arrival
murder too, so that's appropriate.
What you say?
There are a couple of murders in that house, if I recall, too, so that's appropriate.
I know, big ass like underground garages and stuff. It's bad news. Don't fuck around. So y'all do your arrival thing. Y'all outside. I'll be inside. Y'all can meet together. Me come inside. Bam. I'm gonna be quiet because, well, I'm sorry for what's gonna happen when you open the door.
Well, we just open doors. We don't knock.
Speaking of knocking, Maria walks up to the front door and knocks and/or rings the doorbell. I'm assuming there's a knocker on the door. It's fancy.
Like he didn't know you were there already.
Yeah, he's been waiting, anticipating.
Jacob opens the door. He's in like silk pajamas. Like Jacob doesn't wear silk pajamas. This dude's in silk pajamas.
Maria raises her eyebrow.
Get and do your thing, John.
Well, you would notice not only is she in silk pajamas, but he's got his hair, which you had noticed was recently bright red, is pulled back in ponytail. He's slimmed down quite a bit. and very pointed fingernails, which are jet black. And on close observation, you would see that one eye looks that it may be red as well.
Hi.
Hello. You. She kind of like gestures up and down at him with her hand.
He says, what?
You look different.
No, I don't.
He looks very comfortable.
He makes me wear the pants. The silky ones.
Who was that?
He's doing that weird lounge thing that swole cut up people do on accident because they're swollen cut up. He's essentially framing himself in the door, and he doesn't know he's doing it. What?
You said someone makes you wear the pants?
Yeah, my friend. He likes the pants. Is it just you?
What does it look like?
With her, Marcella would have popped up at about the same time. Hence the comment about you look comfortable.
He opens the door a little wider. And he kind of like for a second he doesn't seem to recognize Marcella. And then he goes, he literally chuckles in like this weird deep voice that comes from like the darkness, and he goes, "Hello, Mercy."
Hello.
Still on the door. Hadn't said come in yet.
Right? We're both just kind of looking at him like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, you want to come in, right?
Unless you'd like us to stand out here and hold a conversation in the doorframe.
M, are you ready to come inside?
Relaxes a little when he says that. Yes.
He opens the door.
Discuss things.
He ushers everybody in. When Marcella gets within arm's reach, not gonna roll. Either happens or it doesn't. He kind of grabs her, like with unnatural vampire strength. Grabs her.
Okay.
Looks you in the eye. So, about that thing.
Yes.
Now I can let you go, or we can do the thing. Which one's it going to be?
Maria just crosses her arms and watches this.
Marcella just kind of glances at Maria, glances at Jacob. Not right now, Jacob.
What'd you say?
She said, not right now, Jacob. Noting Maria standing there crossing her arms.
And he says, and then he lets go. And he goes in the front room. And he sits down on the couch like he didn't just do that.
Okay.
Maria just gives Marcella a once over, like, what have you gotten yourself into?
Marcella will just smile and just smile at Maria.
Maria will go and sit down
Did you get one of them big L couches, the big stupid ones that only stupid rich people can afford? that serve no purpose other than to look cool. You gotta sit
Take
down
up
there.
lots of space.
I know, right? And he sits down in the chair, like in the crux of it, and he dares one of you to not sit next to him. He just dares you. Like, he didn't say anything, but Intimidate 4, big dog. I mean, he knows both of y'all would kill him, but he doesn't seem to care. He doesn't seem to care about a lot of stuff.
Correct.
Mercy, if you don't sit next to me, I'm going to take it real personal.
Well, considering they're here to have a conversation, she'll sit next to him.
M, is that okay?
Miles. She's like, of course.
M, can we start talking now?
Yes.
Marcella just kind of glances back and forth at them, like fairly confused, but rolls with it.
Okay, so we got a couple options on the table. Like, it's not possessive how he has Mercy, but it's possessive. Like, she's not the Dawn of the Giovanni clan and super old and has super magical powers to eat people's faces. She kind of forgot about that. He's just got her in this arm lock of Lerv, and his hands are handsy. So, we can try and find one. So what are we going to do? Like, as if he's not doing that. Like, he has some kind of, like, idle hands, like the arms in his own mind. So, you two are the officers. I am the soldier. What is it that I'm going to be doing next? I understand we're going to go see the Reed, which means we're going to change the pants that aren't the silk pants. Because I need tactical pants to deal with that guy. Also,
that seems wise.
I'm going to kill Midian. Just thought you should know that. Moving on.
Now that's interesting.
Oh, yeah. Felix is going to die, too. Just throwing it out there. Moving on.
Well,
I mean, you guys can stop me, but do you really want to?
you do realize this means you're going to have to take over the financial duties has been supposedly attending to.
I got a calculator.
Yes, I've not heard from Mr. King. He doesn't seem to be doing his job.
I think he's going down with his supposed friends. Whatever they're into, he must be into.
Well, he dug his hole.
He laughs at his holes. That's funny.
Yes, that's
Maria just
with the enemy.
rolls her eyes and shakes her head.
Okay, M. So that doesn't stand for mercy, just so you know. As the talker type person, and Mercy as the boss of our group, we need to decide which direction we're going to go to. Now, I understand that Giovanni politics are Giovanni politics, and I don't care about those because you told me not to. So, but Rossellini, while he's still here, there's still a problem for you. If you want us to not be involved in that, tell me now, and all my plans for dealing with him will go away. If you want me to try and deal with him, that's something different. I have a friend. He's kind of insane, but he's a friend. He's very, very dangerous.
As long as Rossellini is around, he isn't just a danger to me. He's a danger to the rest of my family and anyone else who has already crossed him. And as far as I'm concerned, it seems like most of us already have by going after his assets or his business partner.
So, like, his hand is like
Not
against
to,
his. Yeah, do you think?
I was going to say, not to mention that those of us who are somewhat associated with you may also come under his fire. So it certainly concerns me. Okay, that's all I have to say.
He kind of goes, then why didn't you ask for my help earlier? Merci.
Well, I wasn't sure when he was going to pull shit, and it just happened to all come down at once.
And is that
I knew
true?
he was having his buddies at he sold that meat packing plant. I knew that. I'd given him explicit directions to tell me what was going on with him and his buddies. I don't think he realized I'd had intended to declare the loyalty of my clan to the Ardry, and his intent was to mess with things between the Ardry, the Camarilla, and the Sabbat.
Right.
And the moment he told me that, well, I figured I could kind of keep an ear and see what he was doing. Well, that didn't work out so well. Foolish me.
I can't protect you if you won't let me.
I was trying to learn more before opening my mouth.
I can just kill the bad people. That fixes everything. Okay, whatever. What are we telling the Ardry? Are we telling him about the Sabbat and we're going to try and get his help to go take them out? Or are we doing something else? Because I need to put pants on their attack.
Well, brought in the Sabbat to try to make some. He was trying to cause a stink between the Camarilla and the Sabbat, so hopefully that the Ardry would try to get in there and make it worse. So it might be best if he knows that. At least I know where one of their establishments are.
You mean the meat packing plant?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We're not playing the home game until we do research.
So we at least know where one safe haven is. At least it would be good for him to know who brought them here.
Yeah, well,
Why and what the intent is. So maybe he can try to prevent that.
Well, the other thing we have to worry about is this BS that Wolf and Hart selling. I use them because, well, I don't really have much of a choice. The only weapon I had handy. But last time I checked, vampires don't need skeletons. When you set us on fire, we burn, and then we dissolve through nothingness. I know this.
This is true.
So, how does Carlisle have... Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, here's my question. How?
No, I wasn't. It wasn't a question.
Oh,
I
yes.
was agreeing.
My question is thus: how does Carlisle have remains if there was a fire?
Unless it,
Doesn't.
So it either wasn't Carlisle or it's BS. It's kind of a loose end, don't you think?
Yes.
Because if the Sabbat don't have leadership, who's leading them? Not to mention those disappearances, which I think is where they got all their troops from. I got a King Fedora 4
kidnapping the herd.
I need to roll dice or King Fedora 4 enough to know that, hey, they make sure it's this thing.
That could be.
John doesn't care. Moving on. So, look. So I'm gonna go get dressed, and we're gonna go see our dragon. I'm not gonna kill anybody.
Yes.
You coming, or am I doing this by myself? It's like I'm solo. He goes and he goes gets dressed. She is gone for a few minutes. You two can talk amongst yourselves.
So, it was interesting.
Indeed. Indeed. Things are about to get more interesting, I suspect. Feels good to not be Swiss cheese.
And so,
Have you heard from Felix?
I haven't heard from Felix at all. He doesn't contact me. We've never been particularly close.
He tried to offer assistance in finding Rossellini to me. However, being as he doesn't bother to ask many questions, I didn't trust taking help from him.
Oh.
I told him that I appreciated the offer, but I couldn't take it, and that was the last that I heard.
Huh.
And that was shortly after things blew up.
I wonder if he's fled the city to try to avoid trouble.
I do not know.
Well, it's hard to say. We can only speculate at this point.
Jacob comes back and like tag gear because he goes touch sword knife. What do you guys think? Yeah, both. You're right. His hair is like severe braid and it moves like in the opposite direction of him.
Yes. I should decide what Maria was wearing.
No, you shouldn't. Don't do that. Don't do that. I would
Oh,
do that.
yes. It's time for me to do that. She's wearing black jeans, black t-shirt, and a black jean jacket. She's wearing practical-looking shoes as opposed to some of the normal things she was. And it has her in a tight bun, and she's carrying a large case.
Her practical shoes are always in her trunk.
Like, hey, Marcella, it's your turn. Hey, do that horrible thing. Hey, okay.
You ready?
Don't have a choice.
Suppose if we're going to speak to the Ardry.
All right, we're on the way to the yard right now. I think John's doing fantasy football right now.
Oh, John's here. All right. Well, the court is open, of course. It's a relatively quiet night. but you are ushered in by your gargoyle, or by the gargoyle.
Says to the gargoyle, if you could hold on to this for me, and she offers him the case.
Offers him what?
The case that she was carrying.
Okay. He'll take it. Kind of his job.
Thank you.
Part of it, anyway.
Good. Yes.
But he will lead you guys inside to the Ardry himself. And for those of you who have been here before, you will notice as well that Armentini, the Tremere, is no longer hanging on the wall.
Oh, he's missing some decorations.
Interesting.
No, you've already been twice.
What did Amy say?
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. I promise you. You don't want to know. See? Told you. That's what you said. I go, you don't want to know.
Okay. So what was Jacob gonna say then? Wait a second.
All he's going to say is, do I need guns here?
Here, I just figured we might need it where we might go later, depending on things. Be prepared.
Do you have your armor in?
I think can you wear a shirt over that? Because if so, yes.
I don't know. These are John's rules. I don't know what they mean.
I mean, it's like fitted armor, so a slightly larger size shirt should fit, I would think.
Yeah, as long as it's, obviously you're not running around a tank top over it, but...
No. Actual t-shirt with a jacket over that.
Yeah, that would be sufficient enough that at least it's not visible. Someone who's trying to notice it might notice it, but...
Yeah, we go inside and see the
I'm always
sword face.
prepared. Everything is in my trunk.
He's not allowed to ask you that. Just can't keep talking. Do we see Wolf Boy Sword Face? You see there?
Yes, the Ardry is there. He's seems to be. Oh, excuse me. Standing in front of a fire, believe it or not.
Stop walking.
Yep. No thanks.
On closer inspection, you can see that it is contained.
You know what that is? Fire.
It appears she's actually cooking.
With fire?
Yeah, cooking food over a fire.
It's fire. Good. No, Amy, I forgot my asbestos underwear.
Maria definitely looks fascinated by this.
Yeah, Jacob's just going to stand right. You see him? Can you hear me? I'm good.
As you guys approach, he will put out the fire with a gesture. he will apologize as well. He said he forgets that not everyone has his durability when it comes to flames.
It's time for you to speak now.
Marcella's been like,
Wow.
yeah, she is the face.
Do you want me to do it?
I was going to ask you to brief him, yes, since you're the most familiar with you. Are the one who gathered the intelligence. It would be better for to hear it from you than from me. I wouldn't want to leave something out.
But M. Yes, ma'am. Right. So he says, "Hey, Ruadri.
Yep.
Not gonna do the kneeling thing this time because we got some problems."
He just kind of gestures and he says, "You don't need to tell me. This whole city's falling apart."
It's not falling apart, sir. It's been tactically manipulated to look like it is, but it isn't. The one thing that all the factors need is for the city to stay whole, sir. Because there's no reason to take it if it's not. So, he tells him everything. He basically blurts out everything he did to maneuver Wolfram and Hart, to get Rossellini isolated to where he's got no protection, all that.
Okay.
And then he says, so the Sabata are the only issue. And apparently Wolfram and Hart is taking custody of the Sabata. Well, some of the Sabat holdings. The actual Sabat members, which I surmise were made by all the disappearances of the herds and such, are probably...
The concern there I have is Camarilla have been far too quiet, and that is exactly their style.
What I think we need to do is, sir, we need to make a move. Now, my coterie is focused on its own issues, and he cuts a glance with his red eye at Marcella. We need to, as a group, not just my coterie, we need to hit this war head on. And I think that hitting the Sabat would be our best maneuver, sir. They've apparently lost their leadership, but they haven't lost their numbers.
Well, that's the thing, is all the street violence is down, the street gangs have been disappearing. So, wherever they are, they're hiding well enough that they're not getting...
I know some places where they probably are hiding.
Well, that could be certainly helpful information.
He gives them the locations of the place, the hiding holes for the that he had found that his Sedite had told him.
Okay.
Those were the places that it was the same network. So I'm pretty sure there's some good hiding holes that people should be looking that they normally wouldn't. You can get the sheriff out there and beat the streets in these particular addresses. I'm pretty sure they'll find some pretty interesting things. As for us, what do you need? We know what we're doing. We're trying to hurt some really, really horrible people. What do you need?
The fights to try and be in as few places as possible. I understand they're inevitable, but I need them quit being so spread out. I have assets that are being stretched far enough that they cannot be eliminated. They're being shuffled around. We're trying to cover too many places at once.
So, what asset of yours is in most desperate need?
Well, let's see. I think we've got a couple issues. One is we've got to figure out who else is backing these. If anyone is backing this.
That's so cool. I'm pretty sure. Have you ever heard of this holding company, sir?
I've heard the name mentioned. I don't typically handle that sort of business, but I have people who do who tell me.
They're the ones backing the Infernalists, sir.
Well, that certainly, the money trail kind of answers itself, doesn't it?
I'm not allowed to mess with them, but you are. Totally politics and all.
That's fair. I've got a couple other people I may be able to call in as well.
So, laying out the tactical battle plan, sir. Now, can I tell him about the club? Is that a yes?
Run that past me again. Sorry.
I said, can I tell him about the club?
Of course, I didn't realize you were addressing me. I didn't hear them.
There is apparently an abandoned set of tunnels that would be great for tactical movement. We haven't fully explored them. It'd be a great way to get your troops, minions, throughout the city with no one watching. The sheriff would be able to move unseen and get to places that he couldn't normally get to. Like I said, we haven't fully explored them, but they are an avenue that you should take advantage of. I think you should converse with Xavier and use the Nosferatu's travel means, because they're on our side, they're Camarilla, and they're probably being discounted in this war. They're a major advantage, sir.
Yes, they've been pretty helpful to us so far.
They usually have a sit back and wait mentality, but if pressed or if having them explained to them, they would probably be your best weapon. At least insofar as movement. You said your people are spread thin. Well, if they have a way to move, sure, they're not going to tell you all their secrets, but they will give you some ways to move throughout the city that nobody even knows about. I don't know how they fought wars where you're from, but we can't fight wars with these men house to house. You can't do that. This isn't Fallujah. This is Minneapolis. They've got to be tactical shadow strikes. Move in, just take what you need, ghost out. How do you think I burned your fair city to the ground almost? I only had a few addresses. This might come as a surprise to you all.
Oh,
Mhm.
I almost burned the city to the ground once, sir. I can do it again if it's what you need.
Yes, but that's sloppy.
No, it wasn't. I killed exactly who I wanted to kill, and nobody knew I did it. You guys told me to get rid of
that was you?
Yes. You told me to get rid of the people on the list, so I got rid of the people on the list. I didn't really care who was in the house with him when I did it either. It makes it real easy.
Just shakes her head. She's like, well, what's done is done.
Haven't had any problems with those Mad Adder people and recently have you? Whole slavery thing went away too, didn't it? Don't know why that is.
So this whole time the Mad Hatter thing has been resolved because you did that?
Any Mad Adder killings been showing up recently?
I don't know. Maybe he slunk into the shadows.
The person responsible for a great many of the killings was my Sedite friend.
Once we took him out of the equation,
everybody else
that resolved things.
His father, on the other hand, is still in play. Now to kill him later. That's a whole different. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, fascinating conversation to have.
Do you want to play with my toy?
She smiles. She's like, if it comes to that.
As you like him. So, Ruji, you've got to restructure your combat tactics. You can't fight these people straight up. You can't go pack against pack, war against war. You have to find where they are, burn it to the ground, or find where they are and take them out. You cannot go house to house. You are correct, because it can't even look like there's a war. The Camarilla are, their heads are down, but they're watching you.
Something when it looks like we're weak.
No, they're gonna wait they're just gonna rush in and take out everybody and say, hey, we were trying to kill the Sabbat. You just happen to be in the way. It's not like we can tell vampire from vampire.
Or that, yeah.
Well, that seems a fair assessment. Can I assume you would perhaps want a distraction of some sort at some point?
I'm big on distractions. I like distractions. And yes, we do have to call the minions, Holly. That's what I came to tell you. I don't know if anybody else is going to, but M says that I'm supposed to share. You're going to lose if you keep fighting them straight up. This is not 15 bajillion whatever. This is 2017. 16, my bad. This is 2016. We fight wars a little different now.
It's be a shadow war.
Take the fighting out of the streets. Take it to their havens. Take it to where their minions live. Kidnap some people. Get some information. I know that's not honorable, but that's tactical. I don't want to lose my city. I just got it, and I had 2 more drinks from her.
Maria just raises her eyebrow again. Oh, so that's what that's about.
Don't get mad, Donna. And if the city's burned down, I don't have my party.
It would be a shame.
Boo kiss. You can punish me later for that, Mercy.
It just smiles at this.
Jim, are you going to show up at any point, or are you the actual Rudry and we don't know it?
No, I thought I was already there.
Okay. You have to talk so that I know that you're there, so that I can kill you.
Yeah, I just figured I was milling around the area and since you came up to the artery and started talking, it's like, I'd better not interrupt.
That's reasonable. I'm glad that I had you talk, Jacob. You said some useful things that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yes, Sam. Thank you.
Are the I'll ask if the majority of if there's mortal agents in play, that sort of thing.
Well, I'm not certain. It wouldn't surprise me by any means.
Yes.
Well, it would make sense to me that if they're using mortals, then the sheriff's mortal retainers might be useful as well.
Mobilize the mortals in the daylight, mortalize us, utilize us at night, sir. That's how this works. It's a hammer. Because the intel that we gain at night, they can use in the day.
That's true. The other nice advantage is that the sheriff and his men have mortal authority, so they can disrupt that way.
Yes.
They have grounds to have weapons. They have grounds to close streets, to evacuate people.
Cool thing about being vampires, you only have a 12-hour work day. Just saying. We got mortals involved. I have a particular mortal that I need watched. I want to bring him to the party, but he's not ready yet.
Ooh. Thing with this mortal?
And you said I can play with boys.
Yes. I'm just curious what your intentions are. Can I not be curious?
You are allowed anything you like him.
That's what I thought.
He's very perceptive.
Are you saying he has potential?
Yes.
Huh.
If he doesn't freak out when I throw a car.
That would be the test. Yes, I suppose.
We need some leeway in the promise, Ardry.
He says, I wasn't aware I was involved in any promises.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, the last time I checked, agreements like those would fall under the purview of Miss Lucinda and her crew. And so you would have to take up with them if you want them involved or not, or where those boundaries lie. Mr. Vintland takes particular joy in delivering those kind of messages to her. Like,
So,
Yes.
so we turn this obvious war into a shadow war. That's the first step. Second step is to utilize an Nosferatu for transport. I've thrown some. You may have noticed that transports have been hit a little harder. There's a reason for that.
well, sometimes that has to happen too. I assume you had good reason. It wasn't my resources. It wasn't my property, so it wasn't my problem.
Those people are transporting guns for Carlisle and his men.
Yes.
They're where they got the hardware.
I don't know if I've dealt with this Carlisle you speak of.
Nobody has, because Wolfram and Hart is... Okay, one, do you know who they are, Wolfram and Hart? I thought it a bit odd when they offered me, when I got my first loan for $5 million. They wanted to extend me a line of credit to raise my arsenal level to that of a paramilitary unit. I didn't take their offer. I just paid them back their money. They apparently throw money at people they think can be useful to them, and they're a law firm, and they have access to guns like that. It's a little odd, which is why I usually take in Rosaline, because I figured they'd be pissy if someone took $50 million away from me.
Rosaline was helping funnel the slot here, hence selling the meat packing plant to a slot.
Which they're going to use to continue to grow their numbers by just taking our herds and just taking our feeding grounds. You got two choices. You can salt the earth where they live. My suggestion, poison their herd. Army marches in their stomach. They don't have anything to eat. They'll have to encroach on lands of people that weren't. Okay, the Sabbat against the Camarilla. They're not against the independents. They are nominally against the anarchs. But if they're
not against the independents, except for the ones that came in and that I suspect were trained by Rossellini. Ones that took out several of my people's safe houses and almost took me out.
Well, that being said, until such time as we find a way to weaken them, we need to make them safe. We need to make it so that they can't eat. That way they'll encroach upon territories they have not been encroaching upon, and then thus create new enemies for themselves.
Just how many different fronts do you want to open on this?
All of them. We're the only ones fighting them, which means that they're only worried about us. What if they're worried about everyone?
Well, we don't know exactly what's going on.
Of course we don't. We're never going to know exactly because you can't get good intel. But if a faction-wide war breaks out, then, well, so much the better for Pippin. You're going house to house against people who can tap into other resources. They have other resources. You don't. All you have is the sheriff and his guys. So they're only worried about the sheriff and you. What if they were worried about everyone?
I need to introduce you to Arthur at some point, I see.
Mr. Drake.
Yes.
Oh, you weren't with us then, were you?
Who's Arthur?
Arthur Drake would be part of my enforcement squad, if you will.
If M says I can meet him, I'll meet him.
He works primarily with the sheriff and with Mr. Xavier, who I believe you met as well.
Yes.
They coordinate on the information and more militant and mystical moves. Mr. Drake is a Tremere. Well, we have our good friend Mr. Vintland handle the political.
Do you have any technologically savvy friends? Because if you do, I have access to a certain set of servers and locations and on the net that might have some information on it of a financial nature that would be useful in ways that you don't quite comprehend. Unless you're like a financial guru or something and I don't know it, which you might be because you're really old.
Well, I do have some people who deal in that. I'm at least familiar with enough to make use of it, but I'm no guru.
He basically gives you, have your friends look at these two websites. There's a burst packet of information that was sent. It will be useful. Mercy?
Yes.
You should also have your friends look at this location. All of Rossellini's unsecured accounts and his information. Thought you might like that.
I love this.
Also, Felix King's unsecured accounts.
I've heard this name a couple times lately.
I'm not at liberty to discuss Felix King, sir. All that being said, we're going to go after what? And please tell the nice man where we're going to go kill people so I can go do bad things.
What seems to be the most pressing place that people need to be killed? The Sabbat? That was the impression I got from our discussion. Jacob, do you have anything to disagree with on that?
I never disagree with you, Adam.
Okay, well, there are other options that I'm not considering.
If there are, I'm sure they are not important.
Fair enough. Marcilla, what do you think?
We start there, I suppose. That might weed a good friend Carlo Rossellini out, seeing as he's working with them.
The bar likes to What happened? Sir, here's what I suggest. in as much as Arthur and your sheriff are definitely dangerous individuals, I understand that they've got bigger fish to fry. What they need to do is get us a location or some sort of tactical information so that we can use our small enforcement squad and take out something, some sort of beachhead, some sort of covert mission. Let me show you how a shadow strike's supposed to go so you can at least emulate it.
Well, I can certainly task them with that. They're looking into a number of things right now. There's reports of an infernalist that has recently vanished, and we're not sure the circumstances.
I don't know what an infernalist is.
A demon worshiper. One went by the name of Gareth.
He's gone.
Yes, well, not only is he gone, but supposedly so are the cultists who served him.
Well, this is either a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, Mr. Drake says that shortly after his death, there was a fairly large rift that occurred in the Shadowlands.
What kind of rift?
An abyssal one.
Yeah.
He says abyssal. Jacob's right eye glows.
But also, Mr. Drake has said that there's been issues with the spirits on that side as well lately.
Our coterie is built to be part of the defense. Yes, M?
Intent to defend this city.
Indeed.
In Italian, Jacob will turn. He'll look at Maria. He'll look at Marcella and he'll say, "So, what is it exactly you want us to actually help you with that we can without super secret Giovanni rules?"
And she'll say it back. As long as I can locate Rossellini, I can have him picked up on my own. But Rossellini, as far as I'm concerned, while he's working with the Sabat, still is a Giovanni. And she says this with disdain.
Okay, that's the plan then. So our plan is to do one elite hit on a Sabat beachhead, so that we can weaken them. Are we going to implement the sickness in their herds the areas they're taking control of, or are we going to leave that alone?
What kind of sickness do you suggest? This concept.
Can I roll an intelligence medicine to see if there's anything I can think of that might help them with this?
Out of character, I can think of something.
I can't.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm
Okay. 8.
Ruidru will also inform that they suspect that the feeding sources for those who support him have been targeted by the Camarillans. And that's
You
why
want me to
there's
tell
been, well, I don't think that conversation will go quite that easily. But that is why we have reduced resources ourselves.
believe the Camarilla are targeting the herds.
Oh, that's kind of the way it seems.
Huh. Have to do something to make them stop if that's the case.
She's a red Alistair. She's not going to stop. She doesn't have to.
In other words, we'd have to force their hand.
What are we going to bargain with?
I'm not certain.
Sorry, the cat was mauling me.
So, the only actual movement that we can make is a more sound tactical plan for the war. That's the most important thing, correct, sir?
All right, seems to me that would be our best option at this point.
If you'll allow me to help, I will, sir.
Well, I can certainly not in a position to turn down assistance. That's
M, do you give your leave for me to assist?
Of course.
I recommend you coordinate with Mr. Drake and with the Sheriff Thornwood. They should be able to offer some useful information on what they have discovered so far.
When this is all over, I'm going to have a wonderful party.
I didn't hear you out of character. What was that?
I said, and when this is all over, I'm going to have a wonderful party.
I'm sure we can arrange something.
I think that's everything, sir.
I can't think of anything else to add.
Mercy.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add?
I'm having a brain fart and can't think of anything.
I understand the brain fart. Good job, Mercy. Thank you, sir.
I will notify Mr. Thornwood and Mr. Drake that you will be contacting them.
Yes, sir.
We will contacting them. I guess we can see ourselves out.
He kind of just nods and thanks you for your assistance as well.
I think that's it. We're done.
As you guys are leaving, you will notice the Tremere Armentini come walking in.
That's the dude used to be up on the wall?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a silver collar with a ruby in it set around his neck. It doesn't look like it opens.
Can we do some kind of occult check or something?
Sure.
Wits occult, intelligence occult, deception occult.
I'd be an intelligence, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good luck, everyone.
Ooh. We both got 4. Seriously?
Looks like it.
Both got what, son?
We both got 4.
You would recognize it as a basically a talisman that expands upon the uses of dominate to make them more effective, and can combine the effects of domination and presence.
Oh,
So he really is somebody's pet. Got it.
cool.
Him, I like his joy.
She just chuckles.
And do I
She
get one of those?
says, I think that might be an expensive thing to obtain.
That's not what I asked.
And it has special uses.
I'm not special.
Special. I might not be special enough.
Mercy Imps isn't special.
If you want to get one, we can do that, I suppose. I'm responsible for obtaining it, though. You will have to do that.
Yes, him.
Marcella just kind of chuckles.
Oh. So it's a ding. It's tough.
Ding.
Don't you forgot the stuff. See, that's the problem. Can't be half singing the song. This is your douchebag too. Where are you? Sack of poop. Let's see. Hey now. This is difficult before for me, John.
Okay.
Nice.
Numbers happen.
Looks like 3 successes.
Serious. Care about a drum beat. Well, good to know. Can we leave now, Em? Unless the two of you have something to do with me or to me.
To contact Arthur Drake.
You want to go see him now, Em?
I don't see why not. The night is young.
Out of character, hey John, can we go see the dude?
What's that?
Can we go see Drake now?
Go see Arthur? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's fine.
All
right. You'll be directed to a shop known as Swords and Sorcery.
Do they have
They
actual
sell
swords?
Remember?
What do you say?
The fellow's been to a shop before.
Yes.
Yeah. As has Maria.
Oh, that's fine. I forgot Maria was there.
And I do believe it does have swords. Am I wrong?
It's got swords. It's a antique and occult shop.
Slick.
Do I need to be here for this meeting?
You don't have to be.
Would you like for me to be?
I would appreciate it, yeah.
Does Mercy want me to go?
Well, if it's necessary to the plan, it's necessary.
That's not a yes.
It's a yes. What needs to be done needs to be done. I figured I would leave Mr. Drake to you. There are still some affairs of my own I need to look into.
All right, so are we going to add a character? You want to thread the meeting with Drake?
You guys can do it.
We can do that.
We'll thread it, and we'll just go ahead and call it.
You guys want to take it to a blue book? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, we'll go Blue Book. We'll be meeting with Sword Sorcery. That way people can put in who want to put in.
All right, well, then I will wrap this up and we can continue in the blue book.
All right.
All right, this has been another Minneapolis by night vampire scene. Gathered some information. Formulated at least the outline of some plans and some conversations that will continue off scene in our play-by-post blue book section. We look forward to seeing you again as we continue our ventures into the night of Minneapolis.